welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about some things that have been going on around the world and some esoteric knowledge. Specifically, I want to talk about some biblical knowledge that a lot of people don't know, hidden knowledge or occult knowledge. So we're going to get into that. Again, if you guys resonate with this, if you feel enlightened by this information, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. But let's get into it. By the way, if you're listening to this, you can definitely put this in the background or just get yourself a cup of coffee, whatever, just listening to the information. It will all seep into your subconscious and your conscious mind. So I wanted to talk about the equinox, and the equinox that we just recently had in March, in the beginning of March, was the beginning of a new year. And this equinox, again, is basically when Aries is the zodiac, the frontlining zodiac. And this is the beginning where everything starts at the beginning, at the top of the hill, at the top of the mountain. New energies are coming in and Earth's baseline energies are changing. If you guys have looked at the Schumann resonance, the Schumann resonance has been spiking every single day, and I'll make sure I put images here, and you guys can also check out the channel to make sure that you see what the Schumann resonance has been doing. It's pretty much been high frequency during the nighttime for me. Wherever you are at in the world, check the UTC time for you, and we have been at 7.83 hertz on Earth for a very long time. So that is alpha beta. That is a very unconscious state. We have been in a Kali Yuga for a very long time. This is a masculine energy, 7.83. It's not balanced by any feminine energy. It's not balanced with that feminine energy. So not only is the frequency super high, but there's no feminine balance. And that's because we've been living in a patriarchal system for a very long time. So because both hemispheres, brain hemispheres, are not connected for most people, and they're not connected to Mother Earth as well, and Mother Earth has also been suffering because she's a very powerful entity, and she has been suffering because there's been a lot of things going on underground, and I mentioned in other videos where they've just been keeping slaves, children slaves. They've had bunkers where the vampires live, where the Canaanites live, where the reptilians live. Doing all the child sex trafficking underneath the earth, and just doing everything possible that desecrates the earth. Just all the bloodshed that the earth can feel and see, and you know, everything that she's been going through along with us at the same time. So new energies are here on Earth, and again, if you're not utilizing this equinox time, if you're not utilizing this time, March, April time, for you to jump to a new timeline, for you to become that new future aligned self, then it's just going to pass by, because we eventually have to go down. We have to go down, decline, and we have to go into the winter time, and we have to hibernate once again. So during this time, 2026, I wanted to mention that on the surface level, the cabal in the Looking Glass and the CIA files, The looking glass, and most of you guys probably know this, is they said that the masses are going to start waking up specifically this year. I think it jump-started really quickly 2 years ago, and it also, a wave of newcomers, a wave of people awoke during the pandemic. So, everything they tried to do, the cabal, the secret hand, the hidden hand, everything they tried to do with CERN, with trying to switch up the timeline, every single timeline they tried to tap into or they tried to manipulate with the looking glass technology, with the looking glass, which is ancient Anunnaki technology, Lemurian technology, where you are able to look at timelines, you're able to see entities that are on the earth that are coexisting with us. There's lots of stories of people being able to see people from the past living in their house. They kind of look like ghosts, or they enter a past timeline, they enter a portal where they enter the future, where they enter some sort of weird interdimensional reality. They had full access to this, and every single time they looked at this, we always woke up. We were always going to wake up, because the evilness has reached an all-time high. It has reached an all-time high, and it can no longer be here anymore, because people are waking up, and we're not going to live in a fabricated technocratic society anymore, or what they were planning to basically do. I also want to mention with the astrology, there are going to be 9 orbiting bodies in Aries. Aries is fire. Aries is that intensity that, again, the fire is coming back. The etheric fire that lights up all of us is going to be lit up with all the planets. And there's probably a planet that you resonate with if you look up your astrology that is heavy in your astrologic chart. So I would look it up. I would look up your Vedic astrology. Just look up Vedic astrology calculator, and you can look at the planets that are in your chart or that are affecting you during this time. So I want to read the 2026 astrological forecast and the celestial bodies in Aries passing through it. So Saturn re-enters Aries on February 13th, staying until April 2028, focusing on structure, discipline, and building new foundations. Neptune re-enters Aries on January 26, 2026, making a 14-year shift into the sign, focusing on dissolving old identities and inspiring new dreams. Chiron continues its transit through Aries for most of the year until January 19th, 2026, focusing on healing wounds related to identity and independence. Mars, the ruling planet of Aries, which returns to its home sign in March and May 2026, which is right now, increasing energy, action, and boldness. Venus passes through Aries March 3rd to March 30th, again right now, influencing personal relationships and desires. And also Venus deals with fortune and abundance, so it's a very auspicious time. Mercury transits through Aries in April 18th through May 2nd, impacting communication. The Sun enters Aries during the equinox, roughly March 20th, initiating the astrological new year. What we have been talking about, the new moon in Aries occurs around April 17th, 2026, bringing fresh energy and emotional resets. So I'm going to stop there. As you guys can see, that the Aries energy is going to give us this new reset. It's going to make sure that everything is stripped away. Everything that you don't need anymore is going to be stripped away. So this all goes back to who really runs the world. Who really runs the world? And I've shown similar diagrams, but if we just go down to the very bottom, we have secret societies, the Committee of 300, the Council of 13, United Nations, Federal Reserve, and they instituted the Federal Reserve around Lincoln's time, even though the Civil War was basically them going against each other to try not to have a Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve and all central banks are not constitutional. They are not constitutional because we should be having a treasury. We should have a treasury in place where they are not taking all the money for themselves and then basically just giving IOUs or fiat money, because there is no real currency in any nation. There is no nation that is using gold or silver. So the Federal Reserve and the taxes that are in place are basically just to take your money, just to take your energy, just to take it all away from you, even though it's unconstitutional. So that's basically what they were fighting about during the Civil War, and this is what they did. They instituted a Federal Reserve to keep all your money, all the money that you made. They take a portion out of your paycheck and they put it into their own pocket, and then they give you back a portion of it with your tax return, but that's not all of the money that they took from you and your energy. So as we move up, we have the United Nations, Council of Foreign Relations, Business Advisory, the Bilderbergs, the Vatican, lower level maleficent extraterrestrials, the Draconians and the Reptilians, higher level maleficent extraterrestrials, Anunnaki, and we have the Archons and other invisible matter, and the highest level of maleficent extraterrestrials, who are literally exist and feed off fear, death, pain, suffering, mercy, sacrifices, controllers of the Archons. So the highest maleficent extraterrestrials, ETs that are at the top, they look like human. They look like human, but they are not humans. They have been running the earth for these thousands of years, and they also live for thousands of years as well. So that's why they have to hide underneath the earth, because basically people are going to notice, why the heck is this person popping up everywhere? But they are very good at hiding, and again, they connect to Enlil's bloodline, the Anunnaki demigod, who came to Earth and enslaved the people and continued to do so. And with his bloodlines that are now in the human race, they have been siphoning and taking upon themselves the earth, hiding in the shadows, and yeah. That is what we got. I want to get to the biblical aspect. So there appears to be a biblical war going on with the Israelites and the Iranians, and they talked about this in the Bible. And the reason why they talked about this in the Bible, because they wrote the prophecy. They wrote the guidebook on what they were going to do in their last days, of reign, of forcing themselves upon humanity. And there are four horsemen. White is false peace, red is bloodshed, black control is famine and scarcity, and the pale horse is mass death. And we are seeing all of that right now, and they're trying to use all of these in combination, all of them forcefully, to the point where we have a shutdown again, whether it's a celestial event or it's just them fabricating the shutdown like they did with the pandemic. So these are the four horsemen, or the four horses that we are seeing, but on the flip side, the four horses also deal with the four elements that are going to come. The four elements that are going to come, and they're going to restore peace and harmony once again in the world. So in the media, you guys probably have seen the white horse, Beyonce riding the white horse. The red horse is this year, 2026 is the red horse. And the black horse, that's dealing with famine and scarcity. I don't know. I'll put it up if I can find anything in the media. And the pale horse has also shown up in the media. I think it was at the Vatican that the pale horse basically showed up. And the pale horse is not a white horse. It's like a grayish, palish horse. But that's what's up with the upcoming events. So the next thing I want to talk about is the deceived sons of Adam. So we would be called the sons of Adam. We are from that line, but it should not necessarily be Adam. In the future, it's going to be all of us are going to know who we are based off of our mother lineage, because that's what matters the most. So I'm going to read the quote for you. There are 7 imposter demons, or stellars, who will deceive all the sons of Adam. These are Soul, Spiritus, Veneris, Holy Spirit, and her answering in the Gnostic Achamoth, Nebu, or Mercury. A false Messiah, who will deprave the ancient worship of God, Sin or Luna, or Shuri, Kian, Kivan, or Saturn, Bel, Jupiter, and the 7th king, Nerigig, Mars. And this was wrote in the Codex of Nazareth. Okay, so the Codex, the Catholic Codex, literally tells us straight up to our face that there is going to be 7 imposter demons. And if you guys look at the image, these are there are 5 kings who ruled, and you guys can all see who their faces are. They're all mostly US presidents who instituted themselves as kings. You guys can look it up where it says, or actually all of them are US kings. What am I talking about? All of them were US presidents who instituted themselves as kings, and you guys can go look it up. It's legislated, it's booked, and the last final demon is the unknown demon. It's the unknown Antichrist that they want to bring up. Donald Trump could perhaps be the Antichrist in that case. That's how you know everything is ending, because he is playing both sides. He's playing both sides. So he's playing on the light and the dark side. So he's doing stuff for the Canaanites, for the bloodline, the ET bloodline that has been taking over Earth. And he's also just been doing the cleanup, or cleaning up the Earth as well, because he has to under universal law. So whether or not this final king, this final eighth demon appears or not, the Antichrist consciousness is leaving. The Antichrist consciousness has been in every single human on earth, because when you cut off access to both hemispheres, when you cut off access to both hemispheres of your brain and your heart, you become your own Antichrist. They have instituted a lot of fear, instituted a lot of deception, to the point where people don't know the God self. They don't know who they are. So, this Antichrist energy has been rampant on Earth. Most likely it's symbolic of the Earth energy. The Antichrist energy has been the whole masses. But if a figure does show up in the media and we start to see this charismatic, king-like, emperor-like person that says, "Oh, hey, let me just fix all your problems," or "Let me just become the next US president," then we know that that is the representative. It's not necessarily, they're not necessarily going to be the true Antichrist, because I don't think the energies on Earth are going to support the Antichrist. There's too many people that are awake now that can see what is happening, and I don't think majority of us are going to be deceived anymore. Alright, so I want to go and I want to talk about Jehovah. Who is Jehovah? The true meaning behind it. Who is the real player behind it? So, the origin of Jehovah dates from the Masoretic innovation, and they gave it the sound of Adonai, but it was read Jehovah. And this is a perversion of the holy name. So Jehovah, Adonis, Adonai, Baal, Thor, all of these names, Saturn, all of these names are the same, are all connected to Enlil. Enlil is the Jehovah in the Bible, and his son are the corrupt, evil, Semitic or Masoretic innovation. Enlil is basically the corrupt god, demigod, the god that the Jews have been calling God, the one that Moses talked to in the burning of the bush, and his son are both Jehovah. Again, he has many names, and I just went through them, but again, it goes by Adonis, Apollo, Baal. All of these names link back to him, and they basically the God of the Bible was him, the one who recreated the earth, the one that went across the waters and recreated the earth and flooded the earth and had destruction on the earth, was all linked back to Enlil. So I'll just read this quote really quick. So the future deity of the sons of Israel calls out from the burning bush and gives his name, "I am that I am," and specifies carefully that he is the Lord God of the Hebrews. So Enlil, the Jehovah, or the one that calls himself "I am that I am," is the Lord of the Hebrews. He's not the Lord of anyone else, according to him in the Bible. Judging him by his own acts throughout the Jewish records, we doubt whether Christ himself, had he appeared in the days of Exodus, would have been welcomed by the inscrutable Sinaitic deity. So, Enlil began his reign during this time. Again, this is when they started to infiltrate all of the religions, all of the Masons, all of whatever form of religion or belief or spirituality they started to seep their poison into. And just looking at this picture, again, I didn't say all the names, but Baal, Moloch, Ashereth, Baal, these are all deities that during Babylonian times they would sacrifice children, they would give them to these deities, and they all represent Enlil, and the Babylonian civilization represents him, his reign, and his Canaanite children. His Canaanite children that are the children of darkness, the dark brothers that those talks about. And just reading the quick verse, you must not make for yourself a carved image or a form like anything that is in the heavens above or the earth below or in the waters under the earth. You must now bow down to them. You must now not bow down to them, nor be enticed to serve them. For I, Jehovah your God, am a God who requires exclusive devotion. So if that doesn't sound like Enlil to you, I don't know what does, because he's just greedy. He's greedy, evil to the core, rotten to the core. And again, it will all just be Baal, Moloch worship. Alright guys, the last biblical thing I want to talk about during this time, because Easter is coming up, so the true meaning of Easter, and it goes back to Babylonian times, and they use the goddess Ishtar. Ishtar is an Egyptian goddess, and they like to twist and invert a lot of the signs, a lot of the gods or goddesses for their own uses. Invert the signs, invert the magic, because once you invert the magic, the symbols, the signs, then it becomes inverted, it becomes perverse. So they perversed the goddess Ishtar, and they implemented a day where basically she was the goddess of fertility, and she represents the egg and she represents the bunnies. But this day, this perverse day was, or this perverse celebration of Ishtar for the Babylonians, the Canaanites, Enlil, Baal, Moloch, turned into a day where, again, they would sacrifice children, they would have orgies, again with the symbolism of the rabbits and the eggs, they would have orgies, and that is basically all Easter really means. That's all Easter really means. So the symbolic eggs and rabbit was in fact a pagan Babylonian Assyrian deity signifying fertility, sexuality, and it was implemented or introduced into Christianity by Emperor Constantine. So again, I just have to tell you guys that this day was infant sacrifice. This is where they would have all their orgies. This is where they would do all their dark rituals in the name of Ishtar, but Ishtar is not a bad deity. Ishtar is not a perverse deity. She is the goddess of Egyptian times, but again, the Babylonians, the Canaanites are going to take it for their own uses, and they're going to use the power, they're going to use the energies of the deities for their own good. And this is what people have been celebrating every single year without knowing, oh, Easter is really about, this is where it originated from, where they started to implement the eggs, where they started to implement the bunny, and the bunny was all about infant sacrifice. It was all about the orgies and the dark magic and rupturing the root chakra of the male so that he can never be in his full power because somebody was rupturing his back end. You know, stuff like that is what people have been worshipping. They have been celebrating every single year during Easter time. Alright guys, I think that is all I would like to present for today. Please let me know what you guys think. I've done a lot of research. I've read a lot of books about this. I implemented quotes. If you guys want to go check out Isis Unveiled is the main resource that I used today, the main material. But if you want to look into this, please look into this. We are in unprecedented times, and most likely we are going to see something pop out. Something is going to reveal itself, whether it's the veil that comes down where the spiritual world becomes more known and more obvious. You know, when we start to see the reptilians, the evil entities that have been masquerading as humans, or the people, or just basically any entities that have been coexisting with us, they could possibly just become a lot more known because the vibrations are high and they cannot no longer cloak themselves in the hologram anymore. Or basically they start the shutdown, or the Antichrist, the so-called symbolic Antichrist pops out, and they start instituting this one world government, trying to keep everybody in one file line, into one sheep flock. That could possibly happen, but I don't think it's going to work. And no matter what happens, you know, all the grocery stores are closed, the airlines are closed, your lights go out, your internet goes out, whatever is happening in the world, you know, the gas, they're currently doing it with the gas because the Iranian war is going on. So all of a sudden, all the countries have limited gas, or the gas prices are now like $8 in the US. All of this is to keep you in fear, and your divine self, your creative feminine side of your brain that most people have not been using, the left hemisphere, can easily navigate you through any situation with your intuition. So use your intuition. If you come to the circumstances where it seems like things are going to be scarce, things are going to be a little bit more different, but you should not panic at this time, because the only people that are going to panic are the ones that are still a part of the masses, that are still the sheep, that are still a part of the flock, that still want their loosh, still want their fear energy, their panic energy. They all want to run back to Big Brother, to the government, and say, oh, solve this for me, solve my problems, solve the gas problem, solve this and that. No, it's time to be in your independent and sovereign capacity, and you can live on your own means. You can live off the fat of the earth. It's all up to you. Every single day you can take a few steps forward towards the right day, and it all starts in your internal world. It all starts with the thoughts that you're going to tell yourself. It's not going to come from the outside. The outside government has been trying to kill you with the education, with the medical system, with the food that you consume, the food where they put flesh and meat that is not good, that is human meat, whatever. infant meat, whatever you want to say. All of this to tear you down, take you out of your sovereign capacity, your God capacity. Alright guys, I feel like I'm gonna rant for way too much, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later.